In today's video, we are going to be ranking some of the biggest financial mistakes that you can make in your 20s. And the chances are, if you're watching this video, you've definitely made one of these mistakes. And if not, congrats to you, but I know I've made a lot of these mistakes in the past, but I've definitely learned from them. Now, when it comes to my ranking criteria, here's the thing. All of these mistakes to a certain extent could be financial doom, and all of these mistakes to a certain extent could be you'll be fine and it might be a little learning mistake. So I'm going to rank these generally where I see fit for the majority of people out there. Now, we're going to go through one by one, give these a ranking. So if you guys, like this video, I'd appreciate a subscription and a thumbs up, and let's get into it. First up on the list is buy now, pay later. And in my opinion, buy now, pay later is just a plague that so many younger people, especially in their 20s, are kind of falling for. And the biggest problem, in my opinion, with buy now, pay later is creating this false sense of affordability for a lot of young people. Just because something's $3,000 online and then a firm pops up telling you that you can pay $180 over 18 months or whatever it might be, that does not mean the thing is not $3,000 anymore and that you can afford it. You should not be buying things that you cannot afford with buy now, pay later, because it will make it look 10 times more affordable, and you're going to trick yourself into buying this thing that you truly can't afford. And the next thing with buy now, pay later that really bothers me, you're buying something that you're going to have to keep paying for 12 to 18, I've even seen 20-month buy now, pay later installments. And that's just crazy to think that for the next 20 months, you're going to be paying off this item. That are you even going to be using this item in the next 20 months? Is it even going to matter to you? And then the last thing is using buy now, pay later on stuff that just you should have the money for. Like, I know people who use buy now, pay later on groceries. We should not be using, there should not even be an option to use installed payments when it comes to your groceries or clothing or things of that nature. And a lot of people have just gotten way too comfortable with, adding installments for whatever it might be when it comes to everyday purchases. And then it gets to the point where they have, 5 affirm payments every single month, and they're paying, plus $200 a month because they've stacked up all these installed payments at, $15, $20 a pop. And it gets to the point, it's just ridiculous. Buy now, pay later is an absolute plague. I fell for it when I was in my younger 20s. I have completely tried to stay away from it the best I can. It is very enticing sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's just something you got to stay away from. I don't think it's financial doom, but I definitely think it's just a bad financial decision. Once again, this could fall into either categories, but I'm going to say for most people, something you should stay away from is buy now, pay later. Next up on the list is going to be buying or leasing a new car. And this one's going to be very controversial because I know a lot of people always want to make excuses when it comes to buying or leasing a brand new car. And look, I have been there. I bought a brand new 2017 Subaru WRX when I turned 18. I bought a 2020 BMW 340i when I was like 21. And then when I was 23, I got a Tesla Model 3 Performance. And every single time I bought a new car, it was because I got a raise at work. I told myself I deserved it. I made all these excuses. When I got the Tesla, right, I told myself, I'm going to be working an hour away, so I'll get a Tesla. I don't have to pay for gas. I made all the excuses in the world. At the end of the day, this is the harsh truth. No 20-something-year-old should be driving a new car. It's just simple as that. Now, look, once again, I know you're out there already typing away in the comments, this guy's an idiot, he has no idea what he's talking about. On paper, no 20-something-year-old should be driving over a $30,000 car, nor should it be new. In my opinion, if you want to be financially smart, go buy a Honda, go buy a Toyota, and just pay it off in cash if you can, and just chill. I know it's not cool. Your friends aren't going to want you to come to the car meets. I get it, bro. I was a huge car guy. I still am a huge car guy. I literally work in the automotive industry. At the end of the day, no 20-something-year-old should be buying a new car. No 20-something-year-old should be leasing a new car, getting yourself wrapped up into these huge monthly payments. I get, you can make all the excuses. You can say, new cars are reliable. No, sure, you can say that, but old cars are reliable too if you find the right ones. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, you can make so many excuses, but buying and leasing a new car in your 20s, in your teens, this is financial doom, especially if you get to the point where your car payment is over $300, $400. You just don't need that in your 20s. And once again, I know people are going to make excuses. I've been there. I've done it. I'm speaking from experience. If I could go back and do anything in my early 20s, it would be to not spend so much freaking money on cars. But I did, and it set me back a very long time in my investing journey, and it's something I wish, I could do over. Next up on the list, and this one's kind of slept on a little bit, and some people don't realize they do it, but that's copying your friends and their financial decisions. And this can go both ways, right? This can go in a way of your friends are investing in a certain cryptocurrency or stock and you want to follow their investment advice. Or your friends are, buying new cars or doing this or doing that. At the end of the day, you should not be copying your friends or anything they do when it comes to their finances because they're individual from you. They make their own money. They have their own situations. You should not be following that. If you want to invest into a stock your friend told you about, do the research. Make sure it aligns with what you value. Make sure it's a company you actually want to put your money into. Don't just buy it because a friend's buying it. I know plenty of friends who have all told me, bro, you got to invest in this stock or buy this cryptocurrency. I'm telling you, it's going to the moon. And they're down 40, 50% in their portfolios because they don't do the research. And obviously, you might have friends who are very good at their finances and know exactly what they're talking about. And maybe you can follow some steps they might give you and some guidance, but don't copy them one for one. Every single person is individual from you. If you want to get into your finances, sit down, take the time to teach yourself, learn these different things, and go from there. In my opinion, this is just a learning mistake a lot of people in their 20s make. Next up on the list is cosigning. Now, this can be cosigning for a family member, a friend, whatever it might be. Now, when I say cosigning, what I mean is you're actually the cosigner, not you having someone cosign for you. You're actually cosigning for someone else. Now, this doesn't happen to a lot of people, thankfully, but I do know there is some people out there who aren't in the best family situations or, certain people might be down on money in their lives and they'll get asked like, hey, I'm going to buy a new car. Can you cosign for me? Because they have a good credit score or X, Y, and Z. This is something that respectfully you never want to do, even if it's for a family member. You do not want your name attached to anyone else's finances. I do not care how much you trust them. I don't care how much you love them. Do not cosign for anybody, even family members. Do not do it. You are too young in your 20s to be cosigning for anybody. Your finances are like a safe haven that you need to protect, and cosigning can just lead down so many terrible rabbit holes for your finances. This is something you should never do. This is financial doom. Do not cosign for anybody. Do not attach your name to anyone else's finances, and you'll be set. Next up on the list is courses. Now, what I mean by courses, like paying for courses, whether it's, work-related courses or investing courses or whatever. Now, once again, this is one that could be financial doom. This is one that could be you'll be fine. Here's my outlook on courses. Courses to a certain extent can help you. For example, I'm in the analytics field. I took a Google Data Analytics certificate that is on my resume now. I paid $39 a month for it. It took me 3 months to complete the course. So do the math, that's about $120. And in my opinion, it looks very good on my resume and it does increase my candidacy. So I'm fine paying $120 for that course. But there is people out there, and we all know who they are, that have investing courses or cryptocurrency courses, and they will charge you hundreds and thousands of dollars, and they'll guarantee you 50% returns, 100% returns on your money. Do not pay for stuff like this. At the end of the day, courses are one of those things that I would say 95% of the times you can learn whatever you're trying to learn in a course online. And if you really want to take a course, look for free options first. There is so many free courses out there online that are available to literally anyone. All you have to do is sign up and you can start taking courses today. So courses are one of those things you have to audit. You really have to ask yourself if this is going to add value to not only your life, but maybe your resume, maybe your finances. And if you truly believe it will, then okay, maybe you can take it. But at the end of the day, if this is something you can learn online or you can just get for free, don't pay for courses. And especially these like online gurus who trade and do this and that. All these courses are scams at the end of the day. For me, in my opinion, I'm going to put courses as bad financial decisions. Next up on the list is just going to be eating out too much and or like food delivery. So here's the thing. I can tell you guys right now, the biggest leak in my finances is eating out too much. I eat out way too much. I eat out for the convenience, if I'm being honest. It's not that I eat bad food when I eat out. I just like not cooking, right? Like I love cooking, but it's also just when I get off of work, it's nice to just grab dinner somewhere for $20 and call it a night. But the problem is this adds up so much. And especially if you're door dashing or you're using Grubhub or any of those delivery services, I mean, it stacks up so much. And this can be such a bad financial move for a lot of people. Two things. Cooking is not only healthier because you can audit what goes into your meals and, you're going to cook healthy and stuff like that, but it's also just cheaper. Going to the grocery store is cheaper. People make arguments that eating out is cheaper, but it's not. Going to the grocery store, buying foods, buying good ingredients, it's better for your body and it's cheaper at the end of the day. And food delivery services have just gotten way too expensive. I think this is a major setback in your finances. And once again, I'm speaking from experience here. I know for a fact that if I cut out eating out for my life, I'd easily save $500 a month. Next up on the list is not creating an emergency fund. Now, an emergency fund for most people on paper is going to be 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved in a high yield savings account. So this is money you're not going to touch. This is money you're going to build. You're going to get it to 3 to 6 months of expenses. And ideally, you're going to forget about it. And your emergency fund, what it's going to do for you is exactly what it says. If there's an emergency, you get laid off at work, your car breaks down, you have a health issue, whatever it might be, right? Hopefully none of you guys go through emergencies. But if you do, this money is going to be used for that. Now, a lot of people do not create emergency funds when they're younger because they think, oh, nothing's going to happen to me. I'm young, I'm healthy, I'm not going to have any health issues. My car is new or it's reliable. Nothing's going to happen to my car. Or I started at work and I'm not going to get laid off anytime soon. But for 90% of us, life happens and you're going to have to pull out of your emergency fund one day on a rainy day. Having an emergency fund is one of the best things you can do for your finances. Now, not having an emergency fund is financial doom. The reason why is because if there's ever a day where your car breaks down, and let's say you have $500 in your bank account, $1,000 in your bank account, and you need new tires, and tires are expensive, right? Tires are anywhere from $400 to $800 a set. There goes all your money right there. Or if you have a health issue, there goes all your money right there. Or if you get laid off at work and you don't have a lot of money and cash on hand, there goes all your money. So not having an emergency fund is financial doom. Next on the list is gambling. And gambling is just like buy now, pay later. I mean, it is just everywhere. Like I'm into sports and you cannot watch one sport game or one sport app without it just getting shoved down your throat to, put a pick'em slip in, what's the over under on this? Every YouTuber celebrity is endorsing gambling now. It's just everywhere. Gambling is everywhere. And the problem with gambling is a disclaimer at the bottom to call a hotline because gambling is an addiction. Like this is literally an addiction that they're tossing off to younger people to try to get involved with. And it's just a problem. No one in their 20s should be gambling. And look, I get it. I have a friend, if you're out there, shout out to you. This dude kills it on sports betting. Like he actually makes decent money on sports betting. Like he sends me screenshots every single day of his sports bets and he actually is in the green. I still don't recommend it to anyone. I don't care how good you are because the problem is the minute you start losing that money, you're going to think to yourself, okay, well, you know what? I'm losing the money. Let me get back in it, try to win some more money. And gambling is a very slippery slope. There's going to be a lot of money or a lot of people out there who say they make great money off of it. And there's going to be a lot of people who have lost their families and houses and just overall lives because they got way too invested into gambling. I'm very simple. I would much rather put my money into a high yield savings account or into an S&P 500 tracker and let my money sit versus me trying to make certain picks here and there or gamble my money away here and there. Gambling at the end of the day for people, for anyone, is financial doom. This can be the biggest, slippery slope in my opinion. Like I just said, this can set you back for years if you make one wrong decision. I steer clear of gambling, and I personally think you should probably steer clear of gambling as well. Next up on the list is just avoiding high interest credit card debt, right? So when you have a credit card, high interest debt is everywhere now. I think the lowest interest debt I have on a credit card right now is maybe 23%, which is absolutely insane. And if you guys ever look, if you guys go onto your credit card apps, if you make the minimum payments, it'll literally tell you that you're not going to pay your credit card off for the next like 30 years. I remember one time on my Discover card, I had like $500 on there. And it said that if I only made the minimum payments every single month, I would not pay my credit card off until 2031. This was like 2 years ago. So that's what, like, it was like 8 or 9 years. You have to make way more than than the minimum payments. And I'm not saying credit cards are bad. This is not saying credit cards are bad. I definitely think credit cards are a good financial tool that can be very useful if used correctly. But this is just saying if you're avoiding the debt that you're accruing using credit cards. So in my opinion, high interest credit card debt, this is a major setback for a lot of people, especially in their 20s, because they're gonna buy something and they're gonna think to themselves, oh, I only have to make the minimum payment. And 3 years later, they're gonna be like, why is this card not paid off? And why am I paying $300 over what the item was actually worth? Well, that's because the high interest credit card debt. So you gotta pay it off. Next up on the list is impulse shopping. Now, impulse shopping, we've all done it. I've gotten paid before and I'm like, you know what? Let me just go on Amazon. Let me see what I can buy for $200. Right? I got money burning a hole in my pocket. Everyone's been through it. A lot of people turn impulse shopping into buy now, pay later. A lot of people turn impulse shopping into getting a new car. When you make impulse shopping decisions, they're usually not for the better. The likelihood that you're making emotional decisions is pretty high. So you're not going to treat your finances with as much care as you would if you're in the right state of mind. So overall, impulse shopping is just a bad financial decision. Once again, this could be way higher on the list. It could be way lower on the list, depending on what you buy. But I think for the majority of people, try to stay away from impulse shopping. It's not going to ruin your finances completely, but overall, it's just a bad financial decision to make. Next up on the list is losing your money on one individual stock that you thought was a good buy. Now, this one might be a little different from what most people are thinking. So what I'm basically talking about here is if you do research on a company that you really like and you're like, oh, I'm going to invest my money into this company. I really like this company. I like their business model. And you put money in and let's say their stock goes down by 20% and you sell out of it. I don't necessarily think that's the worst thing in the world because it's a learning mistake, right? I don't think this is a big deal for a lot of people. Now, once again, this is a very slippery slope too. This can go up or it could go down. I think at the end of the day, for most people, if you start investing and you're like, hey, I really like this company, I want to buy some stock of this company, and you lose some money on it, it's just a learning mistake. I wouldn't, hold your head down. I wouldn't think, I would definitely not consider quitting investing. Not all of us are going to win every single time. To a certain extent, this is just a learning mistake. Once again, this could be way worse, but I think for most people in their 20s, if you lose money on investing or lose money on a certain stock, take it as a learning mistake, keep moving forward, try again. Next on the list is falling for lifestyle creep. And if you're not familiar with lifestyle creep, basically all it is this. You're making X amount of money at your job right now. You get a pay raise or you get a promotion or you get a new job to $10,000, $20,000 raise. Instead of taking that $10,000 to $20,000 and investing it or saving it or just doing smart financial decisions with it, you take that $10,000 to $20,000 and you go buy a new car and it depreciates. Or you go impulse shopping. Go make bad decisions with that $10,000 to $20,000 because you have started making more money. You might go upgrade your apartment or you might go upgrade your phone when you don't need one. It's basically scaling up your lifestyle when your money scales up as well. A lot of people fall for lifestyle creep. You'll see a lot of people who are making good money and they're acting like they're making millions, right? You'll see them making $200,000 a year. They have the Porsche, they have the $800,000 house. And it's like, are you really making money at that point? Or are you pissing it all away on materialistic things and not really setting up your future life? So try not to fall for lifestyle creep. This is financial doom. This has to be. Lifestyle creep has to be financial doom. Probably one of the worst things you can do for your finances, especially because this can get blown way out of proportion. And there's just a lot of people I know who make great money and take home nothing because they have super high car payments or super high mortgages. And for what? Who are you trying to impress? You know what I'm saying? Live below your means and save your money, invest it. Next on the list is very similar to lifestyle creep, but it's kind of the more broad, high-level version, and that's just living above your means. Living above your means is basically I'm making $50,000 a year, and I live like I make, $70,000 a year. So you might be making, I would say $2,000 a month, and you have a $500 car payment. You know what I'm saying? Something of that nature, where you're just living way over what you're actually making. This is also financial doom. It has to be, because anyone who's living above their means usually has no room for saving. They have no room for investing, and they're just going to live above their means until they get a new raise. And then that new raise, it's not even going to mean anything, because all that money is just going to get blown anyway, or it's going to get rolled into their lifestyle that they already can't afford, and it becomes something that's very hard to manage. So if you're living above your means, you have to get yourself on like a budget or something like that to get your finances in track. Next on the list is one I really like, and that's not looking for a job when you already have one. And what I mean by that is a lot of people will get a job, they'll get a full-time job, they'll be making decent money, and then they'll just never look for another job again. And look, I get it, right? Like if you're at a company you really like and you really appreciate and they have good benefits and good job security and you just don't want to look for jobs, all power to you, right? But if you're, working at a job for 3 to 5 years in the same position and you kind of want some more money, the best time to look for a job is while you already have one, because you have leverage. If nothing works out, it's okay because you still have a job. Take some time, build out your resume, try to connect with people on LinkedIn and look for new jobs, because it might lead to a better opportunity for you. It might lead to a better company. It might lead to, just more pay in general. And it's really something that a lot of people should practice. And I know the job market's very difficult to live in right now, but at the end of the day, this is something that can boost a lot of people up in their careers, just financially or even positionally. So I think not looking for a new job while you already have one. I'm just going to put this in the you'll be fine category, because for the most part, a lot of people will be fine once they have a job they like. But it is something that, hey, if you want to make some extra money or move up in your career and you have a job you're not really sold on, never hurts to start looking for one. Next on the list is not investing in your Roth IRA. Now, investing in your Roth IRA is super important, especially when you're young, 18, 20, whatever it might be. It's extremely important to get invested in your Roth IRA early, because the thing with a Roth that's different from a lot of investment accounts is the money you make in your Roth IRA when you get to retirement age, that money is tax-free. So what I'm trying to say is, let's say you put $1,000 into a Roth IRA and it turns into $1 million and you retire at 65. You do not have to pay taxes on that $1 million you made. It's that simple. It is a tax-free account. Now, there is caveats. You can't touch the money before retirement age. There's things that limit you from touching this money. But the earlier the better, because compounding exists, right? So the earlier you can get your money working, the longer it has time to grow, to compound, and to really just snowball into this nice big pile of money that you're going to be able to access at an older age. And I know a lot of younger people don't like to think about retirement. They'll say they'll never retire. They don't want to think about retirement. But bro, the truth is, when you're 65, you're probably going to be done working. You're going to want to enjoy your life. You're not going to want to have to worry about finances anymore. So opening a Roth IRA, it's free. You can contribute $1 a day. It literally does not matter. Any young person should have a Roth IRA and get it going and get it open. Now, I think not opening a Roth IRA while you're young is a major setback in your finances. This is something that everyone in their 20s should do. It's something I wish I did earlier. I opened mine when I was 23 years old. I wish I opened it at 20. I wish I opened it as soon as possible. So open a Roth IRA, get some money invested, let it compound over time, set it and forget it. Because if you don't, this will be a major setback on your finances, especially when you're 30, 40, 50 years old, because you're going to wish you had a lot of money in there. Next up on the list, and might be a little bit of a controversial one too, because I know some people don't have luck with this, but not paying someone to do your taxes. Now, hear me out when I say this. A lot of people I know, like friends, use like TurboTax to do their taxes, and they'll have to like pay taxes, or they'll get like $3 back. Like I remember, I think my girlfriend's friend did her taxes and she got like $7 back. there is something you are doing wrong if you're working a normal job and you're paying taxes or getting like $4 to $7 back. You're doing something wrong. I do not mind paying someone to do my taxes. I've had a tax guy for the past 4 years now, and I pay him $250. And every single time he does my taxes, I promise you it is worth it for what I get back. So here's the thing. If you do not want to pay someone to do your taxes, but you're going to get like $7 back, and then you pay someone $500 to do your taxes and you get $1,000 back, do the math. I would rather pay someone $500 to do my taxes and get $1,000 versus doing them myself and getting $7. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you can do your taxes yourself. You can teach yourself how to do it. You can avoid the payment. But for a lot of people, they just don't want to teach themselves how to do it. They don't want to do it. They don't have the time to do it. And they'll do it themselves really quick and they won't get a lot of money back. So I would say if you're someone, especially if you have kids or if you have a job you work overtime or you get tips, if it's affordable, if you can find someone you trust and is affordable, that's the other hard part. I highly recommend paying someone to do your taxes. Now, I would say this is just a learning mistake, kind of can teeter-totter either direction. But at the end of the day, it's not something you have to do, just kind of something that I've always liked doing because, once again, I like the person who does my taxes. I trust him. He doesn't charge me too much. If you can find someone like that in your life, I highly recommend you take advantage of that. Next up on the list is not following a budget. And when you're in your 20s, a lot of people hate following budgets because they feel like they're strict. I think budgets get a bad rap. I think too many people look at budgets as very restrictive. But all you have to do is flip your mindset when you think of a budget. When you think of a budget, think of it as it frees you up because you know where your money is going and you actually know to the penny how much money you have to spend on certain things. So instead of thinking it in a restrictive mindset, thinking like, oh man, I only have $300 to spend on fun. All you have to do is flip the mindset and say, because I followed my budget, now I have an extra $300 to do whatever I want with it. And that simple mindset flip can really change how you look at a budget. And I know too many younger people don't want to deal with it. And because the other thing too is if you look up like a budget tracker online, you'll see people that have like graphs, they'll give you like a Power BI dashboard and have all these formulas. Look, all you need is a simple budget that shows you how much money you make and where your money goes. 2 things, that is it. You don't need to overcomplicate it. The budget, I follow is very simple. How much money comes in, how much money goes out, and I make decisions based off of that. So if you don't follow a budget in your early 20s, I also think this is a learning mistake. I know a lot of people who are financially fine and they don't follow budgets, but I think if you're trying to get into your finances, you want to be more financially conscious, you want to have more financial literacy, start following a simple budget. It's going to pay off. It's going to help you out. I think it's a smart move. Next one here is overpaying on insurance. Now, here's the thing. If you guys didn't know this, you can shop insurance rates. This is something I honestly didn't know. If you have, let's say, insurance with Geico and you feel like you're paying a little bit too much, you can get quotes from other insurance companies and they'll usually try to be as competitive as possible and get you lower rates. This actually just recently happened with me and my girlfriend. My girlfriend was paying over $250 a month in car insurance. We recently got on a plan together. We shopped the company she was using against another company. I called the other company. I told them what was going on, and they were able to insure my car and my girlfriend's car for $177 a month, both cars. She was literally just paying $250 for her one car, and I just got them both bundled and packaged together for $177, one for one, the same coverage. So my point is, if you're overpaying on insurance or you feel like, man, my insurance is kind of expensive right now, it never hurts to get a quote from another company. They all have to be competitive with each other and they all will try to win you over as a customer when it comes to their prices. So overpaying on insurance, I'm going to put this in the bad financial decision because this is a quick, easy way that you might be able to save yourself $50 to $100 a month without you even knowing. Next up on the list is subscription overload. And this is getting way out of hand, especially with like Netflix now. Not only are they charging you for a subscription, but now the most like normal subscription has ads and commercials. You have to pay like double what the normal subscription is to not get ads, which is just, it's so insane to me. Like, I hate how companies are adding so many ads in their subscriptions now. And I get it, like, they're trying to make money at the end of the day. But it's like ridiculous that now you're going to have like Netflix, Prime, YouTube Premium, Hulu, HBO, all these different companies you try to have subscriptions to, and they're all like 20 plus a month now. It's honestly ridiculous. Having a lot of subscriptions and just subscription overload in general, this is just a bad financial decision. I know a lot of younger people, like I said, fall into it nowadays because it's hard. Let's be honest, it's hard not to, right? Like, it's hard not to have 8 subscriptions, but it's just getting out of hand from these companies, and it's our job to cut back on it and to save ourselves from the potential financial doom that it could cause us. Next on the list is taking student debt. And once again, this like most of the things on this list, we're going to have to caveat it here. There's a caveat to this. Taking large student debt is fine if you're going to be like a lawyer or a doctor and it's actually going to pay off and you're going to go to school for 8 years. And yeah, you might be $500K in student loans, but now you're making $300K a year. Okay, cool. Congratulations. But for the majority of people, it doesn't work that way. A lot of people go to school, they'll spend $100,000, $200,000 on student loans, and they'll get a job paying $50,000 out of college. And now they have all these student loans that quadruple their salary and just have no hope, right? No future. So I don't mind taking on student debt if you're actually going into a career that's, for a fact, like 100% is going to pay off. For the majority of people, you do not need to take on this much student debt. For me in particular, right? I got my computer science degree from a very small school. Does it look cool on my resume? No. Does it look cool on my LinkedIn? No. Is it impressive? Absolutely not. But I paid for all the schooling on my own money. A lot of people go to school and they'll tell themselves, I got to go to the best school, I got to go to here. And they'll get themselves wrapped up in all this debt, and the career they choose doesn't pay off. So if you're going to put yourself into student debt, please make sure it's for a career that's actually going to pay off. Please ask yourself if you really need to go into that much debt, because this is just financial doom. Student debt is out of control nowadays, and it's not just in America. I'm pretty sure it's everywhere. That student debt is just getting out of hand, and it's setting people back so far in life. Like, I know people who are 40 still, and they're still paying off their student debt. Like, what are you doing? It's just bad. So audit your career, make sure it's going to pay off. Next up on the list is traveling a lot. Now, I know this is a touchy subject too, because a lot of people are going to start yelling at me in the comments saying, bro clearly doesn't like to have fun. Bro doesn't travel. Bro doesn't like to see the world. Here's the thing. Traveling is not bad, right? I have no problem with traveling. I love traveling. I think traveling is amazing. I love seeing the world. I love looking at, nature and whatever it might be. I love traveling. A lot of people, though, they just take this way too far. Traveling is getting very expensive, and I get it. You only live once. You only get to see the world. But here's the thing. If you are going into enormous amounts of debt to travel, and you're setting your future up in a bad way because you like to travel so much, maybe you should take it back a notch, right? That's all I'm trying to say, right? Don't get too mad at me. Just relax on the traveling a little bit. At the end of the day, a lot of people ruin themselves financially because they travel just way too much. Like, bro, one trip a year is cool. You don't need to leave every 3 months and go on a new trip. And I know there's people that do that, and they put it all on credit cards, and they're like, why am I broke? Oh, I know why. Because you went to a cool place, but now you're broke. So traveling a lot, keyword a lot, is a major setback on your finances. I get it. It's fun. I get it. You get to see the world, but you can't argue. On paper, traveling the world is a huge setback. And this is the point in your finances you'll get to, is you start having to balance life and your finances. I've noticed that the more I care about my finances, the less I want to spend my money. So for example, I keep my finances very tight. So for me, it's hard to think about traveling a lot. Now, there's people that might be super loose with their finances and they travel all the time. So you still have to balance enjoying your life and enjoying your finances. And it gets hard to balance both of them, right? But at the end of the day, just audit what you're doing. Make sure you're not traveling too much and just going way too crazy. Next up on the list is treating your 20s like you have time to fix it. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of kids in their 20s who are younger and they'll tell themselves, oh, I'm only 21 or I'm 22. I can make stupid decisions now, and those stupid decisions I can fix when I'm 28 or when I'm 30. And if you're 28, 30 watching this video, you know it does not work that way. Just because you're younger, it does not mean you can make stupid financial decisions or just stupid decisions in general and fix them when you're older. It does not work like that. Life moves very fast. The older you get, the faster time goes by. And I'm telling you, once again, I know you're young, I know you're having fun, I know you're enjoying life, but if you're younger out there, please do not treat your 20s like it's the times where you make mistakes. You can do a lot of amazing things in your 20s that are going to make your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s way easier. Because here's the thing, when you're 20, you have no responsibility. And that's where that mindset comes from, because you have no responsibility, so you're like, I can do whatever I want. But if you take that no responsibility and you roll it into being a very responsible 20-year-old where you're making smart financial decisions, you're investing, you're setting yourself up for a good career, man, your 30s, 40s, and 50s are going to be smooth coasting. You're not going to have to worry about anything. But when you're 30, it's way harder to correct everything that's happened or that you've done in your 20s. So this is something that doesn't even have to be finances. It could just be bad habits or stuff like that. This is a major setback. Next up on the list is losing money that you try with side hustles or side businesses. And this is something, so like for example, if you want to start a side hustle like this dude right here washing cars, right? If you invest $500 into business cards and car washing material and gas and so forth, and you try it for a couple weeks, you're like, you know what, this isn't for me, and you're negative $300. I think that's okay, right? I think any business you try to open in your 20s, if it fails, I think it's okay, because at least you're trying. You're doing something that a lot of people won't do, and that's taking the first step. You know, when it comes to any business idea or side hustle in your 20s, you're never going to know if it's going to work out until you actually try it. So I would rather younger people in their 20s take the risk, take the $1,000, $2,000 risk and go try this side hustle and fail versus hoarding that money and not doing anything with it and, not investing it, right? So I think for a lot of younger people, if you want to start a side, hustle or a business and you believe in it and it's going to cost you $1,000, $2,000 up front and you have the money to spend, I would do it. And if you lose money on it, you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine. I think it's something everyone should do in their 20s. Try out a side hustle, try out a side business. And last on the list, this kind of plays into the Roth IRA talk, but it's waiting to invest. A lot of people are going to tell themselves that they have years to start investing, right? Like, I'm 20, I can invest when I'm 30, 40, 50, whatever. The problem is compound interest. My favorite fact to tell people, and you can go into a calculator and do all this yourself, if you invest, let's just say from the ages of 20 to 30, you will beat out people who start investing at 30 through 60, because that's how much time your money has to compound and to grow. So if you're someone out there who wants to start investing, I highly recommend you do it instantly. And I'm a huge proponent for investing small increments. You do not need to have a good job to start investing. You do not need to be a millionaire to start investing. You do not need to be making $100K to start investing. You can literally be working part-time at McDonald's and be investing your money. All you need to do is set up an investment account and $5 a month, $5 a day, whatever it might be, start investing. If you can invest, I would highly recommend you do it. You don't need to be making a lot of money. Half the reason I started this YouTube channel in the first place, if you go back to my first video, it was because I talk about how I make $19 an hour and I still invest my money. There's a lot of people watching this where you guys probably make way more than $19 an hour and you might not be investing your money. So highly recommend you invest. The younger, the better. Gives your money time to grow, and it's going to pay off, and it's just going to make your life so much easier when you have all that investment money to fall back on, worst case scenario. So waiting to invest is a major setback. I'm not going to put it in the financial doom category. I don't think it's that bad, but it is a major setback for your finances. That is my tier list for the biggest financial mistakes that you can make in your 20s. Now, there might be some things I missed. I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think I could have added to this list? What do you guys agree with me with? And what do you guys disagree with me with? Because I know with a lot of my tier lists, I get a lot of disagreement on it, which I like. I like commenting. I like hearing what you guys have to say. I like hearing about your guys' personal story, why you agree, why you disagree. But other than that, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hope you guys are in great financial spirits starting off 2026. I wish you guys the best, and I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.